All right, let's see if I still remember how to do this.
You start with you do the catchphrase at the beginning.
Right, right. Give me a
At,
second.
at the beginning,
Okay.
you
Oh,
say something. You say
hey,
like,
hey, hey, Blues! I hear that baby a calling. Oh, God damn it! I messed it up.
no, no, but it was great. That's what they do at the beginning. Hey, blues,
So, it's been a while,
that
Wes,
baby is a call. Yeah, no, it's been a bit. It's been a while. It's been an amount of
but
time.
we're back on that Frasier horse.
We did it.
We're gonna talk about Adventures in Paradise Part 1 and 2
Part 1 and 2, Adventures in Paradise.
because we didn't think there was enough material to fill we didn't think there was enough material in part 1 to fill an entire episode, so we're going to talk about both parts.
There really isn't. There's a lot of it definitely feels like we're really stretching this. We'll get there. We'll talk about it. But no,
Yeah,
there's not a lot of meat here. There's not a lot of meat on this 2-part chicken bone.
there's maybe enough content for like one episode, maybe one and a half. I feel like there's a lot of padding in this.
Hmm.
But we'll get into that. The So we're gonna talk about Frasier dating Madeline Marshall.
Yes,
We're gonna talk about their weekend trip to Bora Bora.
and somewhere in between those two things, we're going to talk about the internal turmoil going on at this Italian restaurant, which a
Right.
lot of familial issues.
uh, we'll start off. Frasier's in his booth. He's dishing out some advice. The guy on the phone is who is it? It's Art Garfunkel, isn't it?
Is
Chester,
it Art Garfunkel?
I believe so.
Chester is played by Art Garfunkel.
Yeah, that's our cameo for the that's our special appearance. By Art
When are we
Garfunkel.
gonna get You couldn't get Paul Simon. We have to go with Art
We just
Garfunkel.
got Art Garfunkel.
Art
Um,
Gar. There. All right, fine. Art. If we must, we'll continue with Art Garfunkel.
the silliest named of the two singers.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so Frasier's he's going off the air. He's
I'm sorry. Well, before we get into it, I am googling Art Garfunkel to see if there's any. And one thing people ask is, did Art Garfunkel write any songs? And Google says no. So let's just move on. Let's just keep it going. It says like
so
under that it says he did write a poem, which isn't a song. Google, don't even tell me that. I don't need to know that.
he helped out. He helped carry in like the luggage and stuff
Oh
for
sure,
the
yeah. He
tours.
he was he was great on bags. He would carry a couple bags over his shoulders, and when Paul Simon needed a drink, he'd grab one for him right away. No, Art Garfunkel definitely deserves his spot in music history for being next to Paul Simon. I'm taking a very anti Garfunkel stance.
Well, so he's playing Chester, this guy who's calling in to Frasier's show.
Yeah,
Frasier immediately is like, okay, I can't help you,
yeah.
Art Garfunkel. You gotta call back
You got to call
tomorrow.
back. And he's like, well, I don't. It's awful tough to get through. And then Fraser's like, well, I guess just stay on, and I'll help you later. And he's like, take your time. And
I
so
have I have I have all the time in the world. I'm Art Garfunkel.
I'm Art. Presumably, the rest of the show, Chester is on hold. So any episode from this point forward, imagine Chester on hold on the phone.
um so okay, so we have Frasier. Roz is in her booth. Frasier goes over to see Roz. She's reading a magazine, and it's Seattle Magazine's Up and Comers issue with the hottest men and women in town.
Hmm.
And for some reason, Jeff Foxworthy is on the cover.
Well, I mean,
I, that may be wrong. You never really get a good look at it, but I swear it's Jeff Foxworthy.
if you you might be a redneck if you're in Seattle.
So
Because the number one up and cover of Seattle is Jeff
Jeff
Foxworthy.
Foxworthy.
He's the number one hottest man in Seattle. That's why he's on there.
So So Frasier's flipping through the magazine, and he notices Madeline Marshall, who is
Number 47.
number 47. Couldn't make the top 10.
No,
Uh, but also him and Niles didn't make the list either, which
no.
Frasier was upset that he didn't make it, but he was happy when he heard his brother didn't make it either. So
He, it was important to him that either they both made it or neither of them made it. He didn't want his brother to have one on him, which I understand.
so yeah, Frasier is quite enamored with Madeline Marshall. Is a stunning woman. She went to she was patron of the arts. She's single. She wants someone who knows how to listen, which is of course Frasier's catchphrase.
Mm-hmm.
She went to Stanford, which Frasier kind of is like, well, if you have to go to school in the West.
Yeah, if you have to, I guess Stanford is fine.
It's the Art Garfunkel of
Perfect.
so yeah, he gets the idea, and I think Roz kind of eggs her on, or eggs him on, to call Madeline Marshall,
Hmm.
and propose they go on a date.
Go on a date together, get together, and he's very much like, well, she's not gonna know who I am, and he's like, Ross like, you're on this radio show, and he's like, okay, fine, like, get on a call, and he makes a pitch. He says he punches in the number and says, oh well, first, Roz says like, Miss Marshall, can you please hold? Clicks a button, and then Frazier gets on the phone and says, well, this is Dr. Frazier Crane. I know we've never met. Gives her a pitch that he thinks very fascinating person wants to know why don't we have dinner, and then there's a pause. It's like, well, that's very gracious of you to accept, Art Garfunkel, but I didn't mean you. I would never ask you to dinner, Art Garfunkel. And then he switches over to line two with where Paul Simon is, and that's who he intended to invite to dinner, as people frequently do.
And we get a brief scene with Bulldog. He goes into the booth to give Frasier the business.
Mm-hmm.
He comments that he sees the article with Madeline Marshall, and he's like, oh, I love a woman who's sophisticated and smart and doesn't wear underwear. And Frasier's like, she said wearing a business suit, and Bulldog's like, it was a general comment.
It's a pretty good joke. I like that joke.
Yeah, as far as Bulldog jokes go, that's one of the better ones.
That's pretty Oscar Wilde.
So we have what is it? We cut to the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Martin and Daphne are sitting around. Daphne is asking what the proper term for serial killer is because it turns out she is the Weeping Lotus murderer.
I knew it. I knew it the whole. That's why she doesn't use her powers to catch. Because you don't. That's it. That's why.
So yeah, she's writing a ransom letter, or a letter to the cops, and she wants to
Hmm.
get it right.
She's
Um,
she's cut. She's got letters she's cut out of magazines and she's pasting them onto a sheet of paper,
yeah.
so you can't get the handwriting.
Martin has a little present. He got a box of Havana cigarette or cigars.
Cuban cigars.
Yeah, which Niles points out, oh, aren't those illegal? And Martin's like, well, my friend over in customs confiscated them from some high school teacher who's bringing them into the country for a civics lesson. When are people going to learn? Rules only apply when they apply to everybody.
And then he puts a cigar in his mouth and then starts smoking it because obviously, as an ex-law enforcement, rules don't apply to him. It's irony. It's irony.
Yeah, and apparently, smuggling Cuban cigars into the United States is worth a fine of $35,000.
That was under the 1996 Helms-Burton Act, which is of course short for Helmut Spargle dash LeVar Burton. LeVar Burton co-sponsored that act in between being Geordie LaForge.
He didn't want cigars cutting in on his book
Yeah,
business.
he taught children to read by making them read the 1996 Act. It was very reading. Yeah, it was important.
So, Frasier. So this kicks off what kind of a weird B plot where Niles and Daphne and Martin are all sitting around the Frasier's apartment smoking cigars,
I'm kind of
and
tempted
nothing
to.
comes of it.
Nothing ever happens. So I want. can we? Is it a miss? I understand we are the Frasier on Frasier podcast. Is it? Let's establish a policy right now. Is it okay for us to skip something that never pays off and nothing happens with it?
I mean, it comes up again. I want to say, but there's still no real payoff, and it plays no part, I believe, in the next episode. So it's just there to fill time. It's a 2 part episode that they
It's
didn't have enough content to fill a 2 part episode.
it's there because we have 25 minutes of content, arguably, and we have 22 minutes, but we've decided there's a two-parter. So fine, yeah, we're
It
gonna.
is it is it is kind of fun to see them smoking cigars, especially Daphne.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
but other than that, it's complete junk. So uh, Niles, well, Frazier comes in, and he's getting ready for his date. He's looking for his socks, and Eddie has them in his mouth, so he gets these. Eddie, you dog, I'm gonna get
Yeah,
those socks out.
you're a dog.
You do dog stuff. It
Eddie,
makes me mad.
when are you gonna stop being a dog and start paying rent and stop taking my socks? You know.
So Frazier is off on his date
Hmm.
with Madeline Marshall, who is the mom from Poltergeist.
Yeah, you're right.
She
Ah,
divorced Craig T. Nelson, and now she is dating Frazier.
yeah. Joe Beth Williams, who you might know from Poltergeist and Poltergeist 2. Oh, the sequel. Why would you do the second one?
Well, because it's poltergeists. It's there's more than one now.
You're thinking that's Poltergeist 2 was Poltergeist the Other Side. I think you're thinking of Child's Play. The sequel was called Child's Plays.
Yeah, you might be right.
I know I'm right, Adam.
So yeah, they're in this restaurant. It's what is it? It's an Olive Garden.
It,
It's
the script
Frazier being the man of culture he is takes his date Madeline Marshall to Olive Garden.
because when you're here, your family. Yeah. Young busboy brings out a
He's like
basket of.
I can get free breadsticks here,
Hey, you know what?
unlimited.
Unlimited breadsticks, huh? That's
I'm
how I
just
treat
that
you.
cool. That's how I roll.
I know you want a guy that'll treat you right, and now you have someone that can provide you an unlimited amount of breadsticks.
So they're at this restaurant. I think it's actually a French restaurant.
It says in the script French, so for it's French. I said Italian, but I still prefer that it's taking place at a very incestuous Olive Garden where all these people are fucking each other. Yeah, it's a family-owned Olive Garden, but all of the employees are dating each other, and it's very awkward.
Yeah, so that's something that kind of I didn't even think about that, but
Yeah.
you're right.
Hmm.
It's so it's like I was saying, it's Frasier's life is kind of like Murder She Wrote, where
Yes.
wherever he goes, he has to solve like people having like crises, like mental issues and family issues.
Uh
So
huh.
so they're trying to enjoy him and Madeline Marshall. They're trying to enjoy their beautiful unlimited soup and salad. Uh,
Unlimited soup and salad. They ordered the tour to Italy. There, which is it's French restaurant, but they still serve the tour to Italy, and they're trying to enjoy. Meanwhile, there's a whole lot of people are yelling in the kitchen. All of a sudden, there's a whole bunch of stuff happening. Uh,
you can hear the father of the restaurant, their waiter, the man who the head of the restaurant. He finds out that his daughter is pregnant,
Yes.
and she and he doesn't know who the father is, and it's all very very and we see in the background there's a waiter who's paying very close attention to this
There's,
conversation.
there's a busboy that's filling Frasier's drink, and as they're yelling, "Who is the father? I want to know," he starts to overfill because he's more interested in the conversation.
Well,
Until
yeah.
the father says, "When I find this man, I will kill him and snap his neck like a stale baguette." He just completely books it out of the room, which is the implication being that he is the father.
And he's played by Rick, the bus boy. He's played by Rick Schatz,
Rick Schatz.
who is the only actor I could find who in this episode or the next episode that had a role on Star Trek.
Deep Space Nine, he was a medic.
Well, it says medic on IMDb, but then when I look him up on the Star Trek Wikipedia, fan thing, it shows him in a completely different role in a completely different episode. So I don't know what to believe.
Oh, interesting.
So that'll just remain a mystery because
Hmm.
we got to move on.
Oh, okay.
It's not that interesting.
Oh,
uh,
you played Gant, who is a
yeah,
guy who's
no,
some guy.
do not read that script don't read that. I'm trying to keep you away from DS9 spoilers.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Close the tab.
Um, so so Frasier, of course, being the man of the master psychologist that he
He
is.
he's the Angela Lansbury of psychology. So
Right.
anybody else would just leave a 1-star review on the restaurant. Instead, he rolls up his sleeves and is like, "Well, it's time for me to unpack all of the psychosis that's going on here. How do I fix this?"
Right.
Uh, yeah. So
To be fair, no. So the mother of the daughter approaches him
you're right.
and is like, "Hey, you're Fraser Crane. I know people who listen to your show." and and,
My sous chef listens when I'm telling him what to do. When I'm instructing him how to make the food, as a sous chef takes instruction.
when we're
He
reheating the breadsticks.
when he puts the breadsticks in the microwave as we're waiting the 30 seconds for the bell to ding, he's telling me all about your show, and I'm like, "Shut up! I don't want to hear it. I'm more into Bulldog in the morning." So that's what.
So, so you gotta help us. We have this crisis. Our family's tearing ourselves apart. So yeah, Frasier dispenses some sound advice. He says, "Oh, you know, father, you're just devastated because you're thinking the bond between you and your daughter is being broken, but she's not a little girl. She and you're and you're a great father and
What
all this stuff that makes them very happy and
and
very
and Fraser picks up a basket of breadsticks, and he's like, "You have unlimited breadsticks, but you also have unlimited love in your heart to give." And that sort of opens, and yeah.
and this impresses the hell out of Madeline Marshall.
She is. Oh, he also, much like Angela Lansbury when she comes to a town and solves a crime, Frasier points out very obviously that the busboy hiding behind a plant is the father, and it convinces them all to, to get along. So they hug and kiss, and Madeline is like, "You have not only have you saved this family, you've won my heart. Now we're together." And Fraser's like, "Oh, just another evening out with Dr. Fraser Crane." And then he pulls off his sunglasses, and they do the sting from that song that the Who plays. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's great.
So we cut to, I guess it's probably a couple weeks later.
Mhm.
Is in the booth. Frasier walks in and he's gushing about how much in love he is with Madeline Marshall. How it's like a storybook romance, and she might even be the one. And Roz is like, "Shut up."
Shut up! I don't have any of these things. I'm in a loveless state. I'm physically sated, but I have no emotional connection with anyone. I'm a walking. You've heard Ra's dialogue before. You know the things she says.
Right.
The gist of it is, I am unworthy of love. I have sex with a lot of men, and none of them satisfy.
I got
My...
turned down by Jeff Foxworthy.
I called. You started from 47 down. I started from one up. So I got rejected by Foxworthy, the Here's Your Sign guy, the cable guy.
So,
Yeah.
Frasier. So Frasier gets a call from. Oh wait, is it a call from Madeline or it's? Oh no. She Madeline shows up in the booth.
She's in the booth. She comes by his work
She
to
just she just snuck in past the
hmm
security guards.
hmm
It's a radio show. No, it's a radio station. No one cares.
No one
Uh,
cares.
Madeline is like, oh well, I was stopping by and I was thinking about us and I'm wondering if we're moving too fast. We don't want to rush it to the physical part.
hmm
We told ourselves we wouldn't rush into the physical part, uh, and we're saving ourselves for the right moment. And then Frasier, looking around, they're in the middle of a booth, and like there are windows and everyone's walking around outside. He's like, "Oh, is now the time? Are we gonna fuck in this booth?"
Are you gonna? Did you come to my work to fuck me? Because I'm not against that.
But she's like, no, no. I think we should go on a vacation for maybe for a couple days, and they're getting out their day planners and they're trying to figure out a time that works best for the both of them, and they can't make it work because they're both very busy business people.
They start yelling out, "How about the 23rd?" No. How about the 30th? No. How about the 20th? No. And they're too busy, and then they both have to run. And instead, they start to make out, and they get really into making out, and they're like, "Let's go tomorrow." And they decide to fly to Bora Bora, which is a famous spot because of the 1968 Italian sexploitation film called Bora Bora, about the island of Bora Bora, who just they fly to this island to fuck because back
Yeah, they're
yeah
going on a fuckcation,
they're
which is
going on
a term that I would like to coin.
officially trademark fuckcation, trademarked by the Fraser on Fraser podcast. At this time at the time, sitcom families, the parents were still in separate beds. So if you wanted to fuck, you needed to fly to an island in order to do that. And that's why Fraser and Madeline are going to fly to the one country in the Fraserverse, the island nation where sex is legal. So that's it's like purge rules, but
It's that the sex that they're going to be having is so dirty that
is
it'll be illegal if they do it anywhere else except Bora Bora.
I don't know if you recall, but about I think in the first season someone said sex that bends the laws, and in order to do that, you have to go to Bora Bora. You have to.
So, yeah, because they have no laws. You can fuck anything here.
You
You could fuck that tree.
Bora Bora operates on. I don't know if you've seen the porn parody of The Purge, but those rules. Those
So
rules.
so so Frasier, he's all excited in the booth, but then later we cut to him in the apartment. Frasier, Niles, or Martin, Niles, and Daphne are all sitting around smoking Cuban cigars, which is a funny visual. But again, this doesn't really go anywhere beyond this scene.
Nothing really happens. Daphne teaches Niles how to blow smoke, and that's it. I think that's about it.
Yeah, it's one of those moments where Frasier walks in at the wrong moment and sees like Frasier or Niles and Daphne like standing in each other's face, looking like they're kissing from a
Yes,
certain angle.
from a very
Uh,
specific angle.
and Niles is like, "I'm learning how to blow smoke," and Frasier's like, "Where? Where are you blowing smoke, Niles?"
Where are you blowing smoke?
Um, so. Uh, so Frasier is worried, as he often does whenever he gets what he wants.
hmm
He's worried because even though he was just saying, an hour ago how much Madeline Marshall meant to him, and how they were he even said that she might be the one. uh, Now they're going to go on this trip together out of just they got caught up in a moment of passion. And what if things don't work out, what if they go on the trip and it's horrible. And Frasier and Daphne, or I keep saying Frasier when I meant to say Niles.
Hmm.
Niles, Daphne, and Martin, they all, dispense their little pieces of advice. Niles talks about how it's possible to move into a relationship too fast because you may find a few years later after you're married that you meet someone who really excites you and you feel alive, and you can't do anything about it because you're trapped in a stale, albeit comfortable marriage.
And then everyone
It's
looks
a
at him. Marriage, I have to go now, and then he leaves.
it's a
Very
Freudian
funny.
slip.
Very, very funny. Uh,
And Martin's like, ah, you're just doing this. You're just being Frasier, Frasier.
what a fantastic John Mahoney.
So I remember when I met your mother. We met outside. We were standing in front of a chalk outline of a murder victim.
She drew a little smile on the forehead, and I drew a pair of eyes, and we were both arrested for interfering with a crime scene. Of course, I got out because I'm a police officer. She faced the maximum penalty of the law, and that's oh, and then Martin asked how we couldn't draw. They hadn't moved the body yet, which is very, very funny. So both Daphne and Martin vote for you should go have fun. Niles is like don't, but he also is trying to fuck Daphne, so he left. His vote doesn't count. 2-0 that he should go to Bora Bora, and he's talked into it, and he's like, I'll go. Uh, that's it. Don't
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
This episode feels so short because so little happens in it of any substance.
It pretty much all got on a downhill once he saved the French family. Is we're just headed towards the ending. So let's just get to
Right.
the. So we go to Bora Bora in a scene that is genuinely maybe 45. I don't know why we bothered going to the Bora Bora set at all. I mean, we're gonna go there a couple more times. They're all very short scenes. The gist of it is he arrives with Madeline. They're both in little robes. Very excited to get physical. Frazier begins oinking like a pig, and that's a thing. If you need to put on some Wikipedia actors oinking sexually, Kelsey Grammer episode 8, season 2 of Frasier, Adventures in Paradise Part 1. He begins oinking because he says he's sweating like a pig that knows he's dinner.
You will have nightmares for the rest of your life.
So so Madeline goes to the bathroom and
To change,
to
to
get
slip into
herself
something more comfortable,
right?
to powder her nose.
And instead of staying, Fraser decides to go out to the patio and enjoy the view of Bora Bora. And Madeline throws off her towel, throws off her clothes. No, she
Yeah, she has a towel. She walks by, and then we see the towel kind
throw
of
the towel.
fly
The
off.
sort of implicit, oh man, the audience doesn't see her naked, but we all know she's naked. And Madeline says, Frasier. And then Frasier turns around and says, oh my God. And then we hear a voice that says Frasier. And we see the bungalow across. It's Lilith, his ex-wife. And Frasier goes, oh my God. And that's part 1.
Yeah, that's to be continued. That's our spot. But we don't have to wait because
Yeah.
we're just gonna delve right into the next part.
We live in the
Uh,
world of bingeable content, so why would we ever have a part 2 of anything anymore? Let's just do the rest of the episode.
right. So
This
Adventures
episode,
in Paradise Part 2.
the episode that got nominated for a sound mixing Emmy and 2 guest actress Emmys, one for
Oh
Madeline,
man.
one for
I
Madeline, one for
I
Lilith.
I love the sound mixing in this episode. When Frasier's jumping up on the bed and slamming against the wall, that was mixed so well.
That was mixed so flawlessly. It was
Kelsey
robbed.
Grammer's sex noises were
The oinks were so perfectly in tune with what was going on. Just fantastic. There's a prologue because again, we show a bunch of clips because as Adam and I cannot overstate this. Shouldn't be a 2-parter. We do not have the content here to make a 2-part episode. But anyway, Frasier and Lilith are getting into a whole thing where they're like, "Why are you both in Bora Bora?" and they both are like, "Well, the fuck this guy." And Lilith,
Yeah, they're both on a they're on a they both book their fuckcations
they're
in in the
fuckcation.
same place on the same day, and it's very awkward because of course Frasier and Lilith aren't they kind of they don't really get along, I guess you would say. They have a complicated
They
relationship.
have a very they, I believe the term, and correct me if I'm wrong. I believe the term is tsundere, where they antagonize each other, but it's because of a deeper interest in each other.
Yeah,
Yeah, so they're constantly like, "I hate you," and "I hate you too," and then they make out for a while.
yeah. It's
That was
are you?
is that it? Is that the
It's
term?
it's if it was an anime, she'd be Tetsundere. It would that would be Lilith.
Hmm.
Um, Uh, Frasier asked Lilith, "Oh, who are you here with? Anybody?" And Lilith is like, "Oh yeah, I'm with Sam Malone, who's
Hmm.
Teddy Danson from Cheers."
Old Teddy Danson, old Whoopi Goldberg roast Ted Danson.
And this of course upsets Frasier because Teddy Danson already stole one of Frasier's girlfriends away from him,
Right.
or fiancés or whatever, you significant others. Anyway, but no, it's Lilith is just playing a prank, playing a goof on Frasier.
Doing the old Eric Andre goof 'em up. One of those social experiments. You got Jamie Kennedy X'd Frasier, and so they had been to Bora Bora. Actually, it is revealed something that was not, I don't think came up in the first episode, that maybe one of the reasons Frasier wanted to come to Madeline come to Bora Bora with Madeline is because their honeymoon, Frasier and Lilith, was in Bora Bora. And subsequently, he took her to Bora Bora, and Lilith also took her new beau, Brian, who is a man with grayish hair, trim, athletic physique.
He's
They
a
both
seismologist.
he's into earthquakes. He likes making things shake,
He,
which comes in handy in the old bedroom.
I thought it meant he just knows like the size of things, like he
Oh,
can
you might be right. Which also comes in handy in the bed if he's very accurate about the size of things.
he can spot a tall building from
There it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a big building. That's a small building, and he just knows all the sizes,
Mm.
everything in between the tall, the vente, the grande.
Mm-hmm. All of them. Every single. Frasier makes a clever comment. Brian is a seismologist, and of course Lilith has so many faults. And Lilith begins laughing, which surprises Frasier because Lilith is a humorless person. But Lilith points out ever since she met Brian, she's been laughing a lot more, which sticks so deeply into Frasier. And he moves on to say how funny Madeline is, and she's also a sportswear person.
Yeah, we didn't mention earlier what Madeline actually does. She
She's
designs sportswear.
she's the 47th most popular Seattlean, and it's because of her line of sportswear.
Yeah,
She's very she's the hottest person. She's the 47th hottest person in Seattle, and she's also constantly in luge gear. She's in a speed suit at all times. She's dressed like Dr. Thaddeus Venture at all times with her speeds, and she's very the 47th hottest person.
so they're Frasier and Lilith are kind of doing this back and forth where I guess they're trying to be they're seeing who can be the nicest to one another. Kind of
Right.
it's sort of that passive aggressive
Yes.
tone. Um, and they're like, "Oh, well, this is great. This is so great that we used to be married and we're on vacation with our new boyfriend and girlfriends, and we're stationed right next to one another. Why don't we get together for in the tiki room for dinner?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we're looking forward to it. I can't wait. This is gonna be the greatest week of our lives, man. We're all gonna get laid. It's gonna be
We're all
great.
gonna get
We're
laid.
out of high school. We're
Rodney Dangerfield runs in and is like, "Hey, you're all gonna get laid." It's very fun.
And they're
Uh,
like, "Wait, no, you're dead." And,
you're a dead guy at this point. Is it? No, he was in.
no, he was alive. I'm
Oh,
talking
you
about if
mean
it was
now?
now.
Yes,
You're gonna die in a few years.
you're gonna be dead soon. No, yeah. I that make this is an odd time to bring it up, but I do have a website I'd like to plug, which is Rodney Dangerfield alive again.com, and it just says no.
Do you know? Quick aside here. Do you know what it says on Ronnie Dangerousfield's gravestone?
What does it say on Rodney Dangerfield's
It
gravestone?
says, "There goes the neighborhood." It's a pretty good one
That's a pretty good one. I like that one.
as far as epitaphs go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have Frasier and Madeline. They're on this beautiful vacation, fuckcation, and
Yep.
it's being ruined by the fact that Lilith is there. Of course, Frasier being Frasier, he will not let this go. And later that night, Frasier and Madeline are in the bedroom. You know, they're kind of rubbing up on one another, and Frasier, he thinks that oh well, he thinks that the boyfriend Brian is a show off.
Yeah.
You didn't have to climb that tree to get her a coconut. There were three of them on the ground.
Yep.
And he also thinks that oh, they're in the next room, the next the next bungalow,
Yes.
having sex because there's no sound coming from the next bungalow, which is a telltale sign that Lilith is having sex.
Yep. That's absolutely what that means. Madeline is getting frustrated because she's still kind of into. They flew. They spent thousands of dollars to fly to Bora Bora, and Frazier is not gonna. She's like, "Would you please concentrate on me?" And so he he tries to. They try to get focused back up. He brings up. It's not like back in college. Sort of thing was going on in the next room, and I was left all alone with nothing but my dreams and my Henry Miller collection. Just gotta block it out and focus on the task at hand, because fucking Madeline is a lot like studying for your midterms. You just gotta do it and get it out and get it through, and then you can think about the fact that your roommates are having sex near you. So that's how Fraser describes it. Madeline does not appreciate it.
So Madeline, well, she comes around and she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go take a shower, and when I come back, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it all over Bora Bora, and it's gonna be filthy and illegal, and you're gonna you're gonna hate it, and we're gonna love it.
We're gonna get it out of you, and we're gonna put it all over the place. Let's do it. We're gonna get it all.
Spread it around,
Spread it around.
rub it in people's faces.
Put it on stuff. We're gonna put it on sand, and we're gonna put it on birds and stuff. You know how it goes." And Fraser's like, "Yeah, that's fine."
We're gonna bring in that pig that they were roasting at the tiki room."
Yeah. So, Madeline goes to get cleaned up, and Frasier lies back in the bed and says, "Oh yeah," in a relaxing sort of way, and then realizes, "Oh, here's an opportunity to make Lilith a little bit jealous. I'm gonna fuck super loud. I'm gonna start making sounds
He,
like I'm fucking."
he's gonna start shaking the bed. He's jumping up and down. He's saying, "Oh yeah, give it to me, baby."
Yeah.
All this,
It's never been like this before. Put it in there. Put it in that one. Yeah. And he takes a moment, listens, and has determined that she is not listening. So he tries to go even louder.
He's doing that. He's going even louder, and he's jumping on the bed.
Jumps on the bed and starts. Oh my! You are so hot. I'm burning up. Wow! Wow! You're gonna do that? Oh, with that? Oh my goodness! Oh my god! Oh, I'm so full inside.
My father's cane.
You're. Oh my god! Where did you get these pictures? Oh my goodness!
And as he's doing this, of course, Lilith and Brian, we see walk past their room. They're outside of the bungalow, and they're peering in, seeing, watching Frasier do this. And of course, Madeline also walks out around the same time, and Frasier is left in a very awkward position where he looks like he's just been jumping on the bed, making sex noises.
Right. I mean, if you're in Bora Bora, Why wouldn't you get on the bed and make sex noises? I get it. I understand. We've all been there. We've all dropped the money. Um, but obviously, Frasier is so jealous. He imagined that Lilith and Brian were having silent sex, completely soundless sex, and it is revealed that they were not. They were just walking around on the beach, enjoying each other's company, and Madeline. Uh, Madeline
This
like,
is this is
I,
the last straw for Madeline.
I guess you don't need me because clearly you're performing some kind of masturbation. Just you in the bed. I guess you're just fucking the bed. Good. Glad I flew here, Frasier. And then that's it.
So we cut to however much time later, and it's Frazier. He's back in Seattle. He's back in the booth, wrapping up the show. He wants to get a message out to Madeline, and he wants to explain his behavior. She left the island before he had a chance, but he won't return his calls. But you gotta let me explain myself. We can't let love. It would be a tragedy if we let love slip through our fingers. So of course that's him trying to get the message out to Madeline Marshall that he's trying to get in contact with her, but she won't return his calls. So they go off the air. Frasier or Roz comes in. She hands Frasier a bill from Bora Bora for the bed that he trashed, which didn't look that trash to me, but whatever.
Mm.
It's $2,500 for bamboo. So
For bamboo, which they have to import to Bora Bora, I believe. So that's part of the expense. I guess he. I mean, I guess in one way, if I may, if you don't have to give any details, you can say, yeah, one time my girlfriend and I flew to Bora Bora, and we fucked so hard that we ruined the bed, and I got the bill for it. Pretty impressive, and no one has to know that it was because of your jealousy. It was out of spite that you did it.
yeah, he keeps that bill lying around just so people can see it. Like, oh man, he's a fuck machine.
I can't
He
tell you
fucked the
how,
bed to death.
how many times Fraser has been at a party and out of his coat pocket he lets the bill slip and he's like, oh, sorry, this is just a receipt from that time I fucked too hard in Bora Bora.
So yeah, it's like Danny DeVito. It's like I got to drop this monster condom
Got a,
from my
a
Magnum
Magnum
dog.
dog. Yeah.
So so Frasier and Roz, they're off the air, or Frasier gets back on the air. He's talking to Vic, who is
Played by
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
So
You might know him from Footloose and Tremors.
yeah, those are both movies that he was in.
Yeah. I here's the thing. I thought Kevin Bacon when I picked Tremors because I thought it was a ridiculous movie, but when you Google Kevin Bacon, those are the two movies that come up. That's fun.
I mean, I would say The Hollow Man.
Hollow Man. That's the third movie. One thing that is nowhere near the top is X-Men First Class, where he plays sort of a Nazi. He kind of plays a Nazi.
Friday the 13th.
Oh yeah, he gets stabbed in the neck with that arrow. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what a fantastic career Kevin Bacon has had.
He's yeah, sure.
So we Ross signals to Frasier that Madeline is calling in. So immediately he puts Vic on hold and he transfers her to or him to Roz. He basically passes the buck to Roz to figure out what's going on with Vic. Which Roz often sort of puts Frasier in difficult positions on the air. So it's kind of fitting that he's doing the same to her now with sending Vic over to her. So just so he can talk to his girlfriend and make amends. And we hear the conversation that Vic and Roz are having, and he's like, "Oh well, I think I have a good personality. I made more money was I was modeling, but I'm doing okay at the law firm." And Roz is like, "Tell me more." Yeah.
And then he starts talking about the town that he moved to, where dance was illegal, and The reason he went there is that he was a sled dog. And he was carrying an important vaccine from Alaska to this town. And before that, he was getting this person that survived the Holocaust to utilize their magnetic powers. You know,
Just
6 degrees stuff. Anyway, we head back to the apartment, and Daphne, Niles, and Martin are all doing stuff, and
completely.
none of them are smoking.
Cigars.
We're
That was.
we're completely done with the smoking thing because it was to kill time.
They're gonna go out and see a ballet,
Right.
and where that Maris is performing in. She's not one of the ballerinas because she always wanted to be a ballerina, but she could never get her weight up.
She could never be big enough to be a ballerina. Very humorous because typically ballerinas are very
Yeah.
small. I would, I so we've established episode part one. It's all about cigars. This one, Maris had, or Niles donated enough to get a fun. They were auctioning off a part in a ballet. I would love if there was an episode where Frazier was doing like he was in his A plot, and we just see like. Not, the Blair Witch Project, we just see Niles, Daphne, and Martin in the corner of the room, just looking straight into the corner.
Yeah, would be great.
There's a famous tweet that, or not famous, but Patton Oswalt tweeted something. Somebody was like, "What are you thinking in this episode of King of Queens?" And Patton watched the scene, and he was like, "Oh my, I've never seen this scene before. It's just my character staring straight ahead for the entire conversation." And that I want to see more of that. I want to see more the people in the sitcom are lifeless puppets, only brought in when necessary. So yeah, that would be great. I would love that. Yeah.
I would watch that. So Frasier, so Niles and Martin and Daphne, they're all discussing this ballet they're gonna go see. Martin, of course, being kind of a stuffy old man, doesn't really want to go, but he's there to support his daughter-in-law.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Frasier gets back in and he's like, "Well, what are you people still doing here?" And they're like, "I have a date. You got to get out of here." Um, so they all leave. Um, and help me out here, Wes. What happens next?
What happens in the thing? So they get out. Everyone's trying to assure him, like, "Oh, Madeline's gonna forgive you. She's gonna come over, and everything's gonna be cool." Daphne says something like, "Miss Marshall's gonna forget." Women always appreciate a man who's sensitive enough to try again. That's why they call us the fair sex. And not Niles assures him that, yeah, it was just bad luck. You were all on this. How on earth would you know that Lilith would be on that island? And Martin makes a comment, apart from the sea starting to churn and all the birds taking flight, because she's like a tsunami. She's a giant storm. She's a terrible.
I thought it was like she was like the spawn of Satan, and like that was
Oh,
that's
like
just what yeah, like it's like an omen situation where like just animals freak out whenever she's near.
I could see that. Additionally, I could for sure see that. But anyway, they leave because they don't have any part in this episode.
No.
That's it. It's been 60 seconds. They're in and they're out. And that's where we are. They leave, and Madeline comes in just as they're leaving, and they assure Madeline and Frasier that hang out all night. They're not going to come back for a while. You know how it is. First you go see ballet, and then you go to your local Jim's diner to discuss, and you get all the pain out of your eyes, and you talk about you know how it is. You're up till 3 a.m. So
Yeah, I definitely know what you're talking about, Wes. It's too bad no one else does.
you gotta slip in some inside jokes. I think in a podcast, you got to do some stuff where nobody knows, and it's speculated wildly on the Wikipedia. What the fuck is Jim's Diner? And I think it's part of the fun.
Why do they have makeup on their eyes?
You know how it goes. You know how it is. Makeup and stuff.
So so Frasier and Madeline, they're having sort of a redo of their Bora Bora date. They're sitting in Frasier's apartment. They're eating mangoes on a stick. It's all very romantic, kind of. It's not Bora Bora, but it's something.
Yeah.
So Frasier's like, "Oh, I think there was something we didn't get around to in Bora Bora, and Madeline's like, well, you got around to it. I just watched.
Yeah.
Uh,
I was just you fucked the bed, Frazier. I was just in the bathroom the whole time, trying to get ready for sex, which we couldn't have because you fucked the bed. You broke the bed, Frazier.
Frasier's like, well, how about we do a little audience participation this time? So they all get out rolls of toilet
They
paper
all
and
go
start
and they
throwing it
start
around
throwing
Frasier's
it,
apartment.
and that's
I can
yep.
do inside jokes too, Wes.
You can, yeah. That is
Um,
that's fun.
yeah, Frasier and Madeline, they're getting kissy on each other.
A little
Uh,
physical.
yeah, a little physical, little they're gonna bone down.
Mhm.
So Madeline brings up the fact that wait, before we do this, I just got to say, I was involved with a divorced man before, and he went back to his ex-wife, and it was devastating for me. I really hope something like that
I,
isn't going to happen again
I don't want to get
with
too
you.
deep into my history, but I was very into it. This man and I were deeply in love, and then all of a sudden, his teenage daughter turned out had a twin that lived in England, and they decided to reunite, and that brought her back into the beat. And then these fucking psychopath twins, in the middle of the night, they got me in a mattress and they pushed me into the water, and I almost drowned in the lake, and no sympathy. He just broke up with me there on the spot. I I was like,
I don't
it's
I don't
him
know what
or it's him. Listen, Dennis Quaid. It's either me or your attempted murderer daughters, and he chose them, and it's still in court to this day. I still get traumatized whenever I see a body of water. Frazier, I just need to know you don't have two twin daughters that you've kept separated from each other. And Frazier goes, "No, I don't have one of those." And he's okay, good, great. Then we can proceed. Let's
um,
fuck.
I don't know what that was, but okay.
Well, okay, that was that was that was
Don't
Herbie.
explain it.
Oh, well, have you seen Herbie Fully Loaded?
No, okay, no, now I get it. Now I know what you're saying. Never
Well, no,
mind.
it was from what the actors from that one. It
Yeah,
was
the low hand, the yeah. Okay. We're gonna move on.
okay.
Because there's a joke I like here.
Okay.
That Eddie the dog comes in. He jumps up on the couch where Frasier and Madeline are making out. And Madeline notices him. And he's like, "Oh, what's your name, little fella?" And Frasier thinks she's talking about his dick.
Talking about his penis.
And he's like, "You promise you won't laugh?" And it's like, very funny. Oh, you're talking about Eddie. I see. Fun fact: Kelsey Grammer's penis is actually named Stinky Pete. That's what he calls his penis.
I believe that. I mean, it's not the most flattering name for a penis,
But it's
but
fitting. Yeah, it tells you everything you need to know.
it's whatever you need to call it. It's yeah. His penis's name is Stinky Pete. His left testicle's name is Dr. Hank McCoy, and of course, his right testicle's name. Oh, what?
Sideshow Bob.
No, it was Oh, you're
No,
right.
his pubes are done up like Sideshow Bob's hair.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, you found it. I was in the middle of saying Rasputin, but then I remembered Christopher Lloyd played Rasputin, and I was stuck. Thank you for saving me, Adam. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Sideshow
So,
Bob, fantastic. He wasn't. Oh, sorry, I mixed it up. Anastasia was Kelsey Grammer. He was the fat guy. He was Vladimir. He was John
right, right.
Cusack's friend. But Christopher Lloyd was Rasputin.
Frasier uh, runs out of the room because I think he's getting Stinky Pete ready to meet Madeline.
He's doing prospector work to get his penis. He's got a little pick that he's getting hair off of the penis so that he can. Like that scene in Toy Story 2, he's got a little brush and he's repainting his penis to get the color right. Like yeah. On the side of his penis, you can see.
He has the old man come in, and,
On the side of
gives
his
his
penis.
penis a fresh coat of paint.
On the side of his penis, it says Andy, and then they paint over the side of the. Anyway, yeah, no,
I
he's
didn't
getting.
plan on making this many jokes about Kelsey Grammer's penis.
But here we are. Here we are in it.
Frasier's out of the room. There's a knock on the door. Madeline
Oh.
answers, and of course it's Lilith in her big '90s women's trench coat.
Hmm.
And she's like, "Don't you live in Boston?" And Lilith's like, "Oh, is Frasier here? I need to talk to him." And Madeline's like, "Okay, well you go ahead and do that. I'm getting the heck out of here. I already this is too complicated for me."
Hmm.
Kind of, I think a little overreaction, but
I mean, on it. So if you have the insecurities Madeline does, and all of a sudden Lilith, somebody who lives the country away. First of all, why wouldn't Lilith just call Frasier? But instead, she decides to fly from Boston to Seattle just to say,
well,
"Hey,
it's a layover.
it's a layover."
But she
Ridiculous.
still could have very easily called Frasier up on the phone and been like, "Hey, there's something I need to discuss with you." Um, Frasier mentions that at one point, but I don't think it's ever really. I don't know. Lilith is she just wants to ruin Frasier's life.
Hmm.
That's why she's there. So
Right. Lilith says,
Madeline,
I hope you're not angry with me," and Frasier says, "Angry? What I have to be angry about just because every time I carve out the tiniest slice of happiness for myself, you come along and obliterate it. My God, woman, I drive a stake through your heart, but I don't think anything could kill you," which is a little harsh.
is very
But
frustrated with her
he's a little
because she's
frustrated.
driven Madeline away.
He was gonna fuck the 47th hottest woman in Seattle, and now he doesn't get to. Now, all the consent is gone, and it's over. And then the rest of the. Okay, we shouldn't fast forward through this. I think we're past all the jokes, but the gist of what happens next is Lilith came over because Brian asked to marry Lilith, and they talk about they're going to Las Vegas. Oh, there is one joke. They went to. Yes, there's a thing that we're gonna get to with Niles where it's fun. Lilith and Brian want to get married in Las Vegas, and they're happy for each other. Frederick loves Brian, but Lilith also makes a point to assure Frasier that Brian is never going to take his place. Frederick loves him too much, and they're both happy for each other. They
She
both.
says Brian has been a dutiful suitor for some time, and I'm convinced within an acceptable margin of error that he loves me,
Yep,
which is a very Lilith thing to say.
that's a very precise Lilith thing to say. And Frasier makes a comment like the one thing that is assured when you get divorced from somebody is you're both losers, and there's the unspoken clock where one of you is going to stop being a loser first, and Frasier selfishly hoped he would be the one to move on first. And Lilith points out she was hoping it was her, and it was. And she would like to think that if things flipped around, Frasier would be she would be happy for Frasier just like she'd hoped Frasier would be happy for her, and Frasier's like, "Well, I am happy for you." All of this is fine. No jokes. Well, Lilith's comment is funny.
It's one of those awe moments.
It's one of those awe moments that Full House was. It was 70% awe moments, 20% dog reaction shots, 8% Dave Coulier sounds, and then 2% humor. That's that was Full House, and Fuller House is even. Let's move on. Let's not get into it. I've got it. We've got it. We've been talking for a bit.
Stay tuned for our new podcast where we talk about Fuller House.
Fuller House. You know how it goes. We're gonna do our own spin-off. We're tired of this format. We're gonna move on to another.
We're gonna do one episode, and then we're gonna kill ourselves.
Anyway, we Martin, Niles, Daphne all arrive, and they see that Lilith is there, and they're okay. So here's where we we get it. Go ahead.
Martin, of course, he has that reaction. This is the woman that he compared to a tsunami or Satan.
Yeah.
So he's very very uneasy with the fact that she's there. Everyone is shocked that she's there, and Frasier's like, "Oh well." Lilith has an announcement. She's getting married.
Married again. And Martin says, "To who?" And Frazier says someone else, and Martin drops his cane and rushes across the room to shake Lilith. That's wonderful. Congratulations.
He's been faking it this entire time.
Right. He could walk the end. He was never shot. It was a
He
false
shot
flag.
himself
He shot himself in the hip in order to move in with Frazier. It's all a
and get
ruse.
closer with his son,
It's all a con.
the sick bastard.
The sick maniac. But so the joke that I had said there were no more jokes. The joke that came to mind was Niles asks, "When is the happy occasion?" And Lilith says, "Tomorrow. We're gonna do it in Las Vegas." And Niles begins laughing. He says, "Lilith, how delightfully kitschy! It's your second marriage, so you've decided to poke fun at the institution by getting married in the tackiest place you could possibly choose." And Lilith is like, "His family lives in Las Vegas." And Niles like, "Oh, you'll have someone to show you the museums." And isn't
I
that
like that joke too.
that is a good one. And
Yeah.
then
Did you say the museums where you were in Las Vegas was?
we went to the there's a museum of neon that was very fun. But mostly we gambled. Well, I gambled. Here's we don't have time, but my favorite thing about Las Vegas is literally anywhere you go to, any conceivable place, they have virtual blackjack. So you just have money in your pocket, and anytime you stop anywhere, oh hey, let's get food and let's sit down. Oh hey, virtual blackjack's in front of me, and you just feed money and you just play blackjack. Hey, let's get a coffee. Oh cool, at the coffee shop there's virtual blackjack, and you just put your money. You just take it from place to place. This little card that has how much money you have, and it was fun. It was really fun. If I lived in Las Vegas, I would eventually run out of money because I would just never stop playing. I would just never stop playing the game. So
Frazier, I think he indicates that he's going to try and smooth things over with Meredith. We cut to they're back. Frazier's back in Bora Bora.
yeah,
He's it's pretty much the same scene as before, where he's out on the balcony. We see Madeline walk by. She throws away her towel, and then Frazier is like, "Oh my god!" And then in the next bungalow over, it's
Diane Chambers, played by Shelley Long, who is uh. So I'll give it to you the perspective of a potential listener. I saw the camera flip, and I was anticipating any maybe Roz or maybe something like somebody within the show. I saw her, and I don't have the most intimate knowledge of Cheers, so I saw this girl and was like,
Oh, who's that?
Who's that?
I don't
And
know who
then
that is.
and then as the show moves on, I go to Google, and I'm like, oh, Diane from Cheers. That makes sense. And the crowd obviously all get it because when they see Diane, they go, oh, and then they go that, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And then Frasier snaps awake, snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Frasier is in a deck chair, and he's in Bora Bora, and the balcony is empty, and he's like, "Oh God, I just had the most fright. Thank God I'm here with you." And it is revealed that he went to Bora Bora with Niles, and
Which paints kind of a weird picture. He took his brother to his fuckcation.
to his fuckcation suite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Fraser and Niles are gonna bow down in that suite.
They're gonna, if you gotta, the family that
Anything goes in Bora Bora.
anything goes. It's purge rules. You can do anything. They're going to fuck, and then they're gonna scrape the barcodes off of PS5s to sell them, resell them in America.
So that pretty much wraps up the episode. Oh, we get a post-credit scene. We see Art Garfunkel sitting by the phone, just still on hold.
I would enjoy it. There's a very brief thing where Niles is like, "There's a huge bug in the shower," and then Frazier takes off a shoe, and we see that they're trying to smash this bug. They're trying to kill this bug.
He's jumping back onto the bed and he's slamming against the wall like he was doing earlier. He's gonna have to buy another bed.
He's gonna have to buy a second bed, and then
He'll have two bills that he could show off at parties.
And then we zoom down to the bug, and the bug is being ridden by Rick Moranis, and he's like, "You gotta help me," and that's the end of the episode.
Yeah.
That was
Wes,
this.
Did this need to be a two-part episode?
No, I think we've said that. It sure didn't. I feel like you could have. I feel like if you cut all of the B story, I feel like if you just cut most of the Martin Daphne discussions, if you just move from point to point, I think this is one of the most achievable things to get down to 22 minutes. But also, then I guess you need to think up another episode idea in order to get to your 24 episode season length. I don't know. It was fine, and it got nominated for Emmys. I do think the episode was good. I think the core concept of the episode was good, but I do think there's no reason for this to be a two-parter, except, I guess, because of the sting in the middle of the episode.
Yeah, that's really the only reason why it exists as a two-part episode is because it has sort of that to be continued moment,
Mm-hmm.
where we see Lilith on the balcony. But yeah, it's fine as far as I guess episodes go. It's just a little boring because there's not a lot going on in the first episode. I think there a good amount of things going on in the second. Um, but yeah, they could have easily combined them and kind of found some way to make it, just one episode.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Mm.
I'm not a television writer. I know they probably just have to pad the hell out of it to meet their quotas or whatever it is they have.
Yep.
So we're so that's the episode we're gonna talk about next time on the Frazier podcast. We're gonna talk about season 2, episode 10, burying a grudge. Artie
Bearing
Wal
a grudge.
burying a grudge. Artie Walsh, Martin's estranged old partner, is in the hospital, and Frazier tries to heal the rift between them. So again, kind of Murder She Wrote, where Frazier's got to, solve a problem with his powers of psychology.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right.
He's
Well,
a former policeman, and he's the last person that worked on the Weeping Lotus case. And Frazier's got to solve the crime. He's got to figure it out. You've got to solve the murders. And Frazier is like, "Well, let me just help you with your foot," and that's how the episode goes. Yep.
do we need to end on a joke?
I looked into it. I looked into the paperwork on our contract with the studio, and no, we can end it whenever. We can end it right now.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Frazier on Frazier podcast wishes to thank KACL780.net for providing episode transcripts and Ronald O'Connell for providing our theme song, Frazier MIDI.